The 8-week trial has been filled with sordid details of Polkinghorne's use of sex workers and drugs, generating huge public interest. The doctor denied killing his wife in their home in 2021 and making it look like a suicide. His defence argued he woke to find his wife already dead.
In the quiet suburbs of Woomera, Auckland, a respected couple lived what seemed like a picture-perfect life. He was a prominent eye surgeon. She, a senior health executive, known for her kindness and her calm authority. But behind their elegant home on Upland Road, something was deeply wrong. And one autumn morning, that facade would shatter forever.
It was Easter 2021.
This is the story of the death of Pauline Hanna, a tragedy that stunned New Zealand and exposed the darkness hiding behind privilege and perfection. Pauline Hanna was a woman of purpose, devoted, ambitious, admired by colleagues across the health sector. She played a vital role in New Zealand's COVID-19 response, respected for her tireless leadership and compassion. Her husband, Dr. Polkinghorne, was equally successful, a polished ophthalmologist with wealth, reputation, and influence. To outsiders, they were the definition of success: refined, generous, unstoppable. But those closest to Pauline saw something shift. Her warmth dimmed, her confidence cracked, and slowly her private life began to unravel. On the morning of April 5, 2021, police received a call from Dr. Polkinghorne. He said he'd found his wife, lifeless, inside their Woomera home.
My wife's dead. She's cold.
Sir, what's your name, please?
Oh, Philip. Polkinghorne.
So tell me, why do you believe that she's dead?
Pardon me?
So why do you believe that she's dead?
Because I can't feel a pulse on the doctor. I mean, she's blue. She's cold.
When first responders arrived, Pauline was gone. She was found near the base of the staircase, her body still, her skin cooled to the touch. At first, it looked like suicide, a tragic end to a woman under pressure. But detectives noticed small inconsistencies, marks on her body, misplaced items, and a timeline that shifted each time her husband retold it. As investigators began to dig deeper, a secret life came into focus. Dr. Polkinghorne, the charming surgeon, had been living a lie. For years, he maintained an affair with a high-end escort from Sydney. Their relationship was intense, fueled by obsession, luxury, and deceit. He promised her love, freedom, and a future without Pauline. He showered her with gifts, lavish hotel stays, and late-night phone calls that blurred the line between fantasy and delusion. But Pauline wasn't blind. She knew something was wrong, and she wasn't about to disappear quietly. Behind closed doors, tensions boiled over. Pauline confided in friends that her husband had grown distant, unpredictable, and cold. There were whispers of arguments, of control, and emotional cruelty. She'd begun to pull away, but the man she trusted for decades wasn't ready to let go. In the weeks after her death, police quietly built their case. They analyzed emails, bank records, deleted texts, and CCTV from the neighborhood. Each clue pointed to the same truth: Pauline's death was no accident. A second autopsy revealed bruises on her neck and shoulders, signs of a struggle, and forensic experts concluded she had been killed and the scene staged to look like suicide. Nearly 2 years later, in 2023, detectives made their move. Dr. Philip Polkinghorne was arrested and charged with murder. The media called it the downfall of a man who had everything. But in court, he remained calm, insisting Pauline had taken her own life.
So we had a couple of glasses of wine, and then we went down stairs, and she had the dinner prepared, because she prepared it when she was doing Graham and John's a bit. And then, so she completed the dinner, and then she wanted to watch some Netflix programs which would happen to be new. Amsterdam, we didn't watch the news, she didn't watch the news last night. So we watched, I think it was 3 episodes of New Amsterdam, which is a medical drama, something I normally don't watch. I don't need to. But there you go.
Yeah.
And then and meanwhile, we're watching that and doing the revising a letter that she was helping me draft. I'd sent it to her, and she was changing a few of the things on it. And then she went to bed. Now, I might have worked on that paper a bit longer, not much longer, I don't think. And then I think I did the dishes, tidied up downstairs a bit, and then went to bed. Now, as I've said to you earlier, in the last year maybe longer, I can't remember, often we might start in the same bed, but then go to a different bedroom. This morning, I saw Pauline there.
Yeah.
And she was slouched. And there was a chair there.
Yeah.
But I could see the dressing gown was, I suppose, half on, half off. It wasn't. I could see her arms blue. And I went over and she was cold, and I knew she was dead straight away.
Yeah.
And then I rang 111. And the lady who answered the phone, I was just a wreck. I was said to her, I discovered Pauline, she was dead. Because I just didn't know what the hell to do. It's pathetic. I just didn't, my brain couldn't work. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And of course, and she said, what do you think? I said, I'm a doctor, I know she's dead. And then she said, oh, get an ambulance.
He blamed her workload. He blamed menopause. He blamed everything except himself. But the prosecution had evidence, and it told a different story. They showed jurors proof of his affair, his money troubles, and his mounting desperation to be free from the woman who knew him too well. Witness after witness came forward. Friends described Pauline's final days, her fear, her confusion, her heartbreak.
Philip had done this to her.
We'll just sort of capture that in our records. So you've got your hands across one another,
Yeah.
up around your neck.
Yes, with
and
the
your-
thumbs on either side of the windpipe, and that he had done that to her and told her that he could do that any time.
Experts detailed the staged scene, and slowly, the mask of the polished surgeon began to slip. The Crown's opening argument revealed a life of hidden indulgence. Prosecutor Alicia McClintock told jurors that the marriage had deteriorated, that Dr. Polkinghorne had spent large sums on methamphetamine, on sex workers, and had grown increasingly erratic. She argued he strangled his wife and staged the scene to look like a suicide. The rope found hanging from the balustrade, an orange rope, was central. Canadian forensic knot expert Robert Chisnell testified that the rope was too long and too insecure to suspend any weight. The Crown laid out their case: financial ruin plus obsession plus drugs equals motive. The defense offered a different narrative. They submitted medical records showing Pauline had suffered depression and prior suicide attempts. They showed emails where Pauline described extreme work fatigue and feeling tired and not myself. Defense lawyer Ron Mansfield KC argued that Dr. Polkinghorne's drug use was casual, not a catalyst for murder. He contended the evidence of affairs and meth was distracting, not proof of a killing. He asked, "Where is the forensic proof of assault?" pointing to the lack of internal injuries consistent with homicidal strangulation. Then there was Madison Ashton. The Crown's narrative tied Dr. Polkinghorne's obsession with Ashton, an Australian escort, to the motive. She was set to testify, but refused to appear as a Crown witness. Later, she said she had been praying for a guilty verdict. She claimed she would have worn a wire to help gather evidence if law enforcement had treated her with respect. Ashton alleged Dr. Polkinghorne had lied, telling her he was divorced when he was not.
Mainly my first questions were about his drug usage. You know, saw how emaciated he was. I just confronted him about it. Just, okay. Why did you lie to me about saying you stopped doing drugs when you clearly have been doing it the entire time we've been apart? And on the second night is when the police turned up, and they were extremely hostile towards Philip. Why are they hating my man? I'm freaking out because he's lying and they're the police. Like, he's flat out lying to them, and he did it so brilliantly.
You know, why did you choose to, lie? I mean, I had, faking the divorce.
Well, that's not quite true, as you know. Pauline and I talked about separating, and the divorce never went through. Period. So if you want to call that faking, we'll call it faking.
It took me a while to acclimatise to the actual volume, the stunning duplicity of faking his entire life with me in such incredible detail for so long. He's played me for a fool, a complete fool.
Darling, I'm going to be charged with murder tomorrow.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's the worst scenario possible. But I'm very pessimistic. But I want you to know right from the start that you'll be well looked after, whatever happens. So I'm sorry to put you through all this.
The police, they're not interested in what I have to say. I would have worn a wire. The reason why I would have worn a wire is because by the time I had enough information about the situation and I'd worked out that he is completely obsessed with me, that I could have leveraged that obsession to get him talking.
As the trial progressed, each side brought their heavy hitters. The Crown called pathologists, forensic accountants, digital forensics experts. They claimed Dr. Polkinghorne had searched terms like leg edema after strangulation on his phone in private browser tabs. The defense countered with expert forensic pathologist Professor Stephen Cordner. He said he found no evidence of manual or ligature strangulation. He noted the lack of defensive injuries, no DNA under nails, and the lividity pattern were consistent with hanging. The jury heard two competing versions: A, murder staged as suicide; B, suicide under extreme emotional strain. In the closing arguments, Crown Prosecutor McClintock said Pauline Hanna was getting in the way of his dream life with Madison Ashton. Defense lawyer Ron Mansfield pleaded, "He is a flawed surgeon, yes, but the evidence of murder isn't here." He urged the jury to focus on proof, not speculation. On 23 September 2024, the verdict came in. The jury's note to the judge said many jurors did not accept the suicide explanation, yet they also concluded that the Crown had not proven murder beyond a reasonable doubt. The verdict, not guilty.
A huge turning point, those words from Philip Polkinghorne after the Remuera eye surgeon was found not guilty of murdering his wife Pauline Hanna. The jury of 3 men and 8 women also found the 71-year-old not guilty of manslaughter.
Moments earlier, Polkinghorne was learning his fate.
On charge 1, the charge of murder, do you find the defendant, Philip John Polkinghorne, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Inside court, it was met with gasps of relief and exhales of anguish.
Dr. Polkinghorne, acquitted of murder and manslaughter, walked free. Outside the courtroom, grief for the Hanna family, relief for the accused, and lingering questions for the public.
As you can imagine, we think it's a crap decision. She was an amazing person.
I thought the court proceedings was fair. and we need to accept the decision and move on as disappointed as we are.
Now we can grieve and let Pauline rest in peace, and that is the best gift we can possibly give her. Thank you.
Was it murder or a tragic suicide? The facts leave room for doubt. The death of Pauline Hanna is a story of ambition, secrecy, and heartbreak, a reminder that even the most polished lives can hide turmoil, and the full truth is sometimes just out of reach. A story of tragedy, speculation, and the haunting silence that follows a verdict of not guilty.